Hey everyone, welcome back to Alf's Mustang Garage. Today we're underneath this 66 Galaxie 500 7-liter and we're going to put in a new clutch. Okay, so we just got the pilot bearing removed with using bread. Love doing that, it's a pretty easy trick. We got our new one in and it just kind of presses in. I just kind of use my standard bearing race and seal driver kit and just kind of install that. So now we're going to be putting on the flywheel, pressure plate, and disc. Okay, lined up. Okay, so we got our flywheel on. I do like to use a little bit of Loctite on the threads of these bolts. Not because they're passed through into the crankcase, but just that one added thing to help me sleep at night. So just so you know, there's only like one way to get this flywheel on. So okay. Nope.
Yeah, I figured that out last time.
Is that it right there?
Looks like it.
Looks like it. Okay.
I could try.
Okay, just like anything else, I just like to get everything started and work your way in a star pattern. Get it all flush, and then we'll torque down. Okay, now you can torque these down. We're going to go in a star pattern. The torque on these is 75 to 85. We're going to put it right in the middle at 80 foot-pounds. It's definitely helpful to have someone helping you while he's torquing. I can hold a breaker bar on the front of the crankshaft to keep that from turning over. So. Okay, so the next item is going to be our disc and pressure plate. Now keep in mind, we had this flywheel freshly resurfaced at our local machine shop. We use Jensen Automotive out of Ogden, Utah. They do all of our machine work for us. So if you're not gonna grind this, if there's not enough meat left on the bone, like, you need to replace your flywheel. That way you have a nice, fresh, clean surface on your pressure plate. You're not going to get any kind of clutch chatter or anything like that. So either turn or replace your flywheel. So this one got turned. Okay, keep in mind, this disc only goes on one way. Okay, you have this pop out on this side. If you try to put it in like this, it will not sit flush to the flywheel, and that will not work. It has to sit like this. So make sure you're putting this in correctly. Good thing to note.
Yes.
Okay, so we got all of our bolts started here for our pressure plate. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this, your clutch kit is going to come with an alignment tool. The snout of this tool is going to go into the pilot bearing, and it's designed to keep that clutch disc aligned, so when you go to put your transmission in, you're not going to have any alignment issues, or else you're like never going to get your transmission in. So because this clutch is clamping, as you tighten it, you're gonna watch these, the springs on this are gonna clamp down on this clutch disc, and you won't be able to move it at all. So it's very important to use your alignment tool, put that in first, and then tighten down your pressure plate bolts, and you'll watch the springs kind of come in and clamp everything together. Okay, so if you noticed in that time lapse where we were tightening everything down, we just kind of went around and around and around several times. And so what you're doing is you're just kind of evenly clamping this thing on here. This is not a stock clutch. This is considered like kind of like a semi-performance clutch. But with these large input shafts on this top loader, it's got the 1 3/8 input shaft. We're very limited in what we can actually get. So we got this one from McLeod. But anyways, you have to just kind of go a little bit at a time as you're tightening this thing down. If you just go full tightening torque on the first bolt, you're probably gonna break that bolt off. So we just kind of went around nice and slowly to get this thing nice and even on here. And these are brand new bolts also. We did not reuse the old bolts. So anyway, so now she's clamped on there. We're gonna put a torque wrench on these things. Now, when we looked at the torque specifications on Summit Racing, it actually calls for 35 foot-pounds. I'm actually questioning that specification. It seems a little excessive for such a small bolt. These are just 5/16 bolts. So we're gonna put it to 10 and then maybe 15, 20 and kind of see how she does. So.
Still checking that though.
Okay, so we got all these torqued down, and like I said before, the torque spec, everywhere I look is saying 35. The tightest I got these things to was 30, and I was being really careful, and you can kind of get a feel for it as you're torquing. It's almost like you can feel stuff start to stretch and twist. So I went as far as 30 on these, but I feel like that's as good as it gets. Just kind of super paranoid to over tighten these things and break them off. So I think that's good. I mean, it's a small bolt. So anyway, so this is ready. Like, this is pretty much all there is to installing your clutch assembly. Now we need to install our release bearing, otherwise known as a throwout bearing. That goes onto the clutch fork inside the transmission bell housing. And then we can install the trans, and that's pretty much all there is to this. But I just kind of wanted to show you how that goes. I've done a video similar to this on a 289 small block. And this is an FE big block, 428, 66 Galaxie 7 liter. So anyways, now we just gotta get the release bearing on and throw the trans up and in, and then we're done on this for now. Okay, so here's a good look at your release bearing, throwout bearing. So it just clicks onto your clutch fork. It's got a couple of clips on the back. It connects to your clutch fork, and as you pivot, it's going to actuate the clutch. So what I like to do is add anti-seize around that shaft there for the throwout bearing. And then I like to put a little bit of grease, not too much grease, because you don't want this stuff throwing around and getting on your clutch disc. But I just like to put a little bit of dab on there, and that's gonna go into the pilot bushing. And by a little bit, I mean like that much. You don't wanna put gobs of this stuff on there. And people are kind of known for that. They'll put gobs of grease on it, and then it gets all over their clutch disc, and they can't figure out why their brand new clutch is slipping. So that's something you don't want to do. So then as this actuates, oh, my spring popped off. But that is what's going to push on your pressure plate, and it's going to push on all those little fingers, which are your springs, and that's what's going to release your clutch disc so that you can go in and out of gears.